you guys were right about last night.
Yeah.
Here we go. So, Paul, your biggest reason Minnesota won this game?
Well, I know you can state the obvious. Town showed up in the fourth quarters, the star. But what I saw was they put Edwards on Luka, which gave him a problem. McDaniels guarded Kyrie a lot.
You thought Luka was having a hard time with
that? Yeah, I did. I mean, look,
I didn't see that at all.
He shot 5 for 15 with Edwards guarding him. Come on, it was some tough shots.
He was just cooking.
Yeah, but down the stretch, it was a different story in the middle part of the game. But the biggest thing that I saw was that gap in the middle, Skip. No Lively.
No Lively
to stop that. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. If he's not out there altering shots, going downhill on the screen and roll, catching lobs, then the Minnesota are going to have their way at the basket. And I thought they did a great job attacking the paint. Finally, I saw Karl Towns in the post on a little guy. I mean, I was like, why is he settling for threes when he got guys like Jones Jr. guarding him? I mean, I thought he took advantage of some opportunities there. Then once he got it going in the paint, fourth quarter, it opened up his three-point game. So the Stars starred. Finally, they outplayed the two stars of the Dallas Mavericks. Now, the key to this series now, you're not going to stop Luka completely. It just is what it is. Like, the sun is going to come up and the moon is going to come out. You're not stopping Luka. The key is you got to find a way to continue to slow down Kyrie. Because Kyrie, his effect on the game is his scoring. And I said this yesterday. He's not a 6'7", 6'8" guy who can manipulate the defense like some of these other athletes or dominate the boards. What he brings to the game is his scoring. In different ways he can score. So if you can somehow slow that down, you got a chance. But ultimately, I said this series was going 5. If you had any kind of resilience as a superstars, Cat, Anthony Edwards, this was a pride game.
Well, you had it going 6.
I had 5. No, we can go back to the tape. I said, no, when they went up, I said, remember?
Oh, when they went up. But you predicted it in 6.
No, listen.
No?
When they went up 2-0,
okay,
I said,
I'm saying before the series
Before the series. No, look. Before the series, I said 6.
6, okay.
But when they went up 2-0, when they was going back to Dallas, when I was like, I can't see them beating them, but I do see a pride game, I said, Dallas in 5. And so I feel like Dallas is going to go into Minnesota and we're going to have one of them Luka games.
Yeah.
And they're going to close it out.
All right. Go.
Well, first of all, the obvious, right? They followed their leader in Ant-Man, in Anthony Edwards. Whatever motivational tactics he used before the game, during the game, at practice, whatever it was, meetings, you could tell they followed him. Then the obvious is Cat. His fourth quarter was big. His second half in general was huge.
It was huge.
But let's not only give Cat his flowers, but we also got to look to Rudy Gobert. Okay, Rudy Gobert did a tremendous job for them. Okay, at times, yes, he got into foul trouble. Cat fouled out. He got into foul trouble. But you talk about 4 from 5 for the field for him, 10 boards for him. He altered people's shots. He discouraged guys from doing certain things in the paint. And he got to the free throw line 9 times. He had 9 opportunities to knock down free throws. So that tells me right there, like Paul said, there was a void in the middle and Lively. The fact that you was giving Rudy Gobert the opportunity to be a scorer, and he didn't back down from it. And then combine that with Kyrie and Luka not playing their best game.
Didn't shoot the ball well
at all. 13 to 39. They had 39 attempts. Okay, they only knocked down 13 of those shots. So you can't expect to win basketball games against a team like Minnesota if your star players, the best backcourt to ever play in the history of the game, the best scoring backcourt to ever play in the history of the game, the moment that y'all started raising that bar, all of a sudden they look like a different two now. They don't look like the best backcourt anymore. Now, Paul thinks that Minnesota's going to just all of a sudden disappear when they get to Minnesota. No. I'm not so sure. Because, again, like I told to tell y'all yesterday and the day before, when this dude, Ant-Man, says what he says and motivates himself, for whatever reasons, they play better, Skip. They just do. He just did it again with Michael Parsons. Okay, hey, man, I'm going to hook you up when I get back here for Game 6.
Well, you got to get back to Dallas to hook him up.
But
that's what I like how he lay himself out on the line.
He lay himself out on the line.
Yeah, he do.
He lay himself out on the line, Skip.
Yeah.
And he knocked the dagger shot down, and I will say it, like a Michael Jordan, like a Kobe Bryant. At the elbow, the last shot, when he stepped up in front of the three, pump fake and moved in just a little bit and knocked it down, that was a killer. And I understand Luka gave everybody a little heartache when that phantom foul.
And 1-3.
Man, come on, man. Everybody even touch him. But they couldn't challenge it, Skip, because they didn't have any challenges left.
Okay, but Anthony Edwards can't even get in the area code on that one. There's no reason to even guard him at all.
He was. That's true. No, that's true.
The game is over.
That's true, but he didn't even touch him.
Yeah, he looked around like, what?
He did.
What just happened?
Because he didn't touch him. He flashed in front of him. But, you know, the win is a win is a win, and they did exactly what I said. The referees kind of extended the series a little bit.
So you think it was scripted?
Come on, man.
Yep.
You see the text I sent you?
You did send me a text. I still think you've never seen that movie.
I have not seen that movie.
Okay, that's all.
You're 100% correct.
That's from Princess Bride, and I said Keyshawn has never seen Princess Bride.
Never seen the movie.
Okay, but it is a funny gift that you sent me about script. He's reading the script, right? Okay, maybe Paul thinks it was a little scripted last night. Maybe the referees needed this to get on another game or two.
Oh, yeah, man. It needs these ratings to go up.
Yeah, all right. So 2 key quotes for me after the game. First from Luka, who sat right up there and said, this is on me because it was about energy. And then he repeated it 2 more times. Energy, energy. Dallas just didn't have any energy from jump. And I immediately tweeted it. I was shocked because I thought they would play desperate just to get this thing over with so they could match your Celtics in rest and recuperation and get Luka healthy and Lively healthy for Boston. And it did not happen because Luka, especially on the defensive end, was just resting every possession. He was playing no defense. Kyrie played a little, but Luka played none. And I think Ant-Man smelled that right away. And it was like, okay, if you guys, and by the way, not once last night did they double Anthony Edwards. They don't jump him, they don't blitz him, they don't do nothing to him.
Corralled him a little bit.
But they treat him like he's just another guy. And last night, he hurt them with his energy and his aggression. He took it to them. He kept getting in their kitchen. And in their kitchen, there was no Derek Lively to bother him because he has bothered Ant-Man every time that there's been a crucial play on the line. It's been Lively versus Ant-Man and stopped him cold in the paint, and he's thrown it away or made a bad idea play. And last night, it was pretty much a super highway to the basket because P.J. Washington, Gafford would get up and block a shot, and he had some big blocks last night, but he's 6'10", he's not 7'1", and he's not long.
Kleber is just not the same.
And he's not the same. He's more of a perimeter 3-and-D guy. But the point was, they didn't have any early energy, and they kept doing the "Are we there yet?" game, where they'd kind of scratch and claw back into it and tie it, and they'd look at Minnesota like, "You guys, you're going to quit now? You done? You want to go 1, 2, 3 Cancun now or not?"
Or not?
No, we don't. We want to go home. That's where we want to go not to go home to stay home. We want to go home to play Game 5 at home, and that happened. And then Anthony Edwards had a great quote right after the game on the floor in which he said about the fourth quarter, he said, "I didn't run to the corner. I didn't shy away from the basketball." Good for you, young man, because you can't, because you're it, man. You got to set the tone.
Right.
You got to establish your energy and your aggression, and he did that. And what I loved the most about his stat line was Anthony Edwards had 9 assists, and he led them at 9 assists because he kept getting in the kitchen, and this time it worked because he'd whip it out to the corner to Cat, which brings me to Karl Anthony Towns. It's the weirdest phenomenon because he's obviously a talented shooter. He's an all-star. What did he score in the all-star game? Didn't he score 50 something? He had 50, right?
Something like that.
Okay, so we know he can do that. He has proclaimed himself the greatest shooting big man in the history of the NBA. And that came back to bite him, obviously, through the first 3 games because he was 4 out of 32 going into last night. And then he didn't even try a three in the first half, and he didn't even try a three for about half the third quarter. And then very quietly, he snuck one in, and it went in. And I think, you know how it is as a shooter, once you see it go in, you're like, oh, that felt,
I'm back.
That
I'm
felt
back.
pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And then just before he went on his tear, they sent him to the line to shoot a technical free throw. And it helps because you go up there and you see it swish and you say, that felt pretty good.
got his
That's
rhythm at
me.
the line.
That's who I am. So all of a sudden, after all the hubbub about I'm shooting 1,500 shots a day, he gets another one over in the corner, and we could see him bang, bang, bang in a row. And this is pretty late in the game because it's 5:41 to go.
This is huge threes.
And here we go.
He just didn't hesitate. He just
There's one
ripped
from
it.
the top.
Look,
and
didn't
one
hesitate.
from the corner, swish. And then this is the third one. When he made that one, I said, that just could be ball game because that put them up 6 with 2:54 left. And then the Mavericks weren't into it. Kyrie wasn't really into it. Luka really wasn't into it. And real quick, I'm going to show you two of their disastrous turnovers down the stretch. P.J. Washington, who's now he's now in the cat shooting slump because he's been terrible.
Wide open ones too.
What is he? He's 6 for 27 in the series from 3. But here are their turnovers late. He's dribbling. He just dribbles the ball off his foot out of bounds. You just can't do it. You're going to lose to that team. They're just too good. You can't do that. And that was Anthony all over you. Way to go. And then we got Kyrie. If we could see the Kyrie play. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. I guess he's trying to get it to Gafford.
I don't think he saw Anderson right there. He was trying to get it to Gafford over on the other side. He just didn't see him.
That was just a bad pass.
All right, it's just such a bad, and it's left-handed. It's no good. And remember that came with 32 seconds left, and you still have a chance. All right, and then we got Luka. So let's go to Luka's miracle shot. He makes it.
You know I didn't need this.
That's a foul.
Where did he foul him at?
He body fouled him.
He right here, once he reached in,
He didn't touch him.
Yeah, he bodied. It was a body foul.
Okay.
But still, you're up 5,
You just,
or you're up 6 at this point.
yeah,
Stay out the way. Just let him shoot.
You just got to stay out of the
Yeah, you
way.
gotta
Just let him shoot. Well, he's cold. It's ice.
Just let him knock it down.
Yeah, go ahead.
okay.
You want to take that shot? Go ahead, buddy.
Okay.
But
And
the great
then-
thing is you just call timeout and advance the ball down the court.
But Luka goes to the free throw line, and here's the weirdest thing about this dude.
Yeah, it is.
On the road warrior. At home, he's never been that clutch at home, and I don't know what he likes to go shut up an away crowd, but he's never been that clutch at home. And in the fourth quarter last night, he was 1 of 5 and 1 of 4 from 3. And he goes to the free throw line, and he shoots them flat anyway, but he left that one just a little short, and it didn't get up and in. It's a flat shot. And he used to really struggle from the free throw line. He's been very good in these playoffs. But if you make that, now it's a 2-point game and it's a free throw game. So now it's up to who can you foul? Can you foul Gobert? Can you get the ball in his hands? Can you get somebody on the free throw line that's going to clang a couple or get you back in the game? But at 3, it's a whole different ball game. Yeah. And that was that. And then Naz Reid made a nice shot on
the layup at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. Luka doesn't mind wearing the black hat. I've seen him many times in this playoff, not just this series. He'll rather get it done on the road.
That's what I'm
saying.
He
rather
loves
look at
that.
the crowd in their face and shoot daggers and smile and do all these gestures towards the other team's bench. And I just don't see this type of performance coming from him in Game 5. Now, you can say that Minnesota has all the momentum right now because they're going home. They feel good about themselves. Karl Anthony Towns probably found his shooting touch. So, they got a lot of positive things going for themselves. But the one thing is, Luka, if you don't even watch this game, you like, Luka was balling. He was balling 25, but he didn't play well.
No.
And that's when you know you're a superstar. But he's going to play well on the road. I can guarantee that because that's what he does. And he's going to go in there and play villain. And they don't want this series to linger anymore because I'm telling you, Skip and Keith, somebody is going to come back from a 3-0 deficit. It's going to happen one day in our lifetime. I guarantee that. And they don't want it to be this team because you know, they number one defense. That translates to shoot. You get a couple good games on defense to push this to a game 7, anything can happen. So I truly believe this will end in 5 because if they let this linger, we're going to go to the Skip and Key. What if? What if somebody jam a toe?
Yeah. Well,
what if somebody sprain their wrist?
Well, it might even be beyond what if. It might just happen.
You know what I'm saying? So this was a missed opportunity for Dallas, and I truly believe they're going to find a way to take care of business.
All right. So
in Minnesota.
Anthony Edwards, leader of this team, raved about 2 players last night. He went out of his way to rave, and the box score doesn't validate what he was saying because you look at Kyle Anderson, who I've always loved because he was a Spur to start with, but he raved about him. So did Karl Anthony Towns. And you look at the box, and he scored 2 points. But look how long he played. He played 25 minutes last night. That was one of those series, you know, where you make a change, where you adjust, you go at it differently. So they let him play 25 minutes.
That's big.
Because he was playing good defense, some on Luka, some on Kyrie. He just knows how to play. And he was overseeing, he was directing, he was traffic copying, he was pointing. There were a couple times Anthony said he got in the lane and he looked up and Kyle's pointing to Karl Anthony in the corner. Here. Oh, okay, I'll throw it over there.
Yeah, the key with him, Skip, he's their most versatile player.
He is.
You know, outside of Ant-Man, because you could put him on all 5 positions defensively. You could use him as an auxiliary ball handler to kind of like, you know, take some pressure off Ant and Conley. And he takes up those spaces in the middle when he gets those little shots. He's hitting them. And it goes beyond, you know, his scoring. You know, you look and say, well, he didn't play well, but he did so many other little things that helps the ball club, and you need those type of guys to win.
No, he certainly did a whole bunch of good things, and that's why Ant pointed him out. That's why Karl Anthony pointed him out. It's not just about the scoring. We like to look at the box score and go all the way to the right and go, oh, my God, he had 19.
Yeah.
But when you look at the game, he did everything right, like you saying, Skip, whether it was pointing, whether it was setting screens at the right time, whether it was rebounding, putting the pressure on the opponent. So sometimes it's not always about the scoring. You got to find other ways to contribute when you play in a sport.
So my point is they think they've found something that will serve them well even in game 5 at home. Look for Kyle Anderson to play a bunch of minutes.
Yeah,
He's going to play 25 or 30 minutes because they feel like that's the new adjustment that works against Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got that.
And they got to stay out of foul trouble, though.
And they got to stay out of foul trouble. But in the end, Anthony made jokes about it, but they love Mike Conley as their little quarterback. You know, it's somebody you can trust. He does the same thing every night. He's always there, and it's not going to be sensational, but it's going to be 14 and 7,
14,
right?
He's going to give you that every night.
But it's stable and trustable and consistent. And he made a joke about he's old as you know what. And yeah, he is, but he can still play. So it feels to me like they found themselves, like they hit on all their cylinders, starting, as Keyshawn said, their leader had to lead them. He had to show energy and aggression like he felt like he belonged out there. And all of a sudden, everybody followed. And they got huge contributions from everybody we just talked about, but especially in the end, from the one guy you least expected, Cat. He made 3 straight threes. And if you don't do that, I don't think you win the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see this. I don't see them duplicating this. It's just something I just.
But if you look at all the games,
Luka is not gonna have it next.
The games have been what we saw last night. All the games have been that.
They have.
Keep it in the end. Keep it close to the end. You know, how many times have they been tied or 1-2 possessions down at halftime? Either one of these teams. That's the way it's been. And you get into that last 5 minutes of the game. And let's see what happens.
Yeah, but you look at the game and you see how they scored. They scored a couple. You know, Cat made some big threes, but they were challenged. So, like, I'm looking at their down-the-stretch execution as compared to what Dallas does. I'm talking Minnesota. You know, those are hit-and-miss shots. You know, that's hit-or-miss execution. Ant-Man just kicking it out, driving down the lane, and just jumping up in the air, throwing it out. Yep. You know, that's a hit-or-miss execution, whereas... Yep. You know, I like Dallas. You just still had the feeling Dallas was going to try to pull this out, even though they was down 2 or 3. You know, Cat makes tough threes. If he don't make those, I just like Dallas down the stretch understands what they want to do down the stretch, what plays they're going to run. We're going to put Luka in this pick and roll. He's going to get in the lane. We got the lob mid-range. Whereas I'm not sure what Minnesota's trying to do. They won a close game finally when it was back and forth. I'm just not sure they know what they want to do in sets. When I look at the sets, that they're comfortable in to just execute down the stretch. You know, I mean, if Karl Towns is going to make contested threes down the stretch.
Wait, he just used that word. If
I was going to get him, Skip.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, I'm not sure he can continue to do that, you know, to push them to a game 6 or a game 7.
Okay. But in the end, I'll say this. I think Minnesota can play better than Minnesota played last night because they turned it over 15 times. That translated to 30 points for Dallas. Listen, it's hard to win a game on the road when you turn it over 15 times and they score 30 points off it. You're just giving them away, right?
Yeah.
So can they clean that up on tomorrow night?
Well, it would start with Ant-Man. He had 6.
He had
and
6.
Karl-Anthony Towns had 4.
That's a
and
lot.
He's got to stay his ass out of foul trouble.
Yeah.
Because he has some goofy fouls, man. Just some unnecessary, especially on the offensive end, just unnecessary fouls. Where you're like, man, why would you do that?
Yeah. This game is a product, I believe, of just not having the presence of Lively.
Well, and
I think that was
I
big
still
for
don't
Dallas.
know what his status is. I don't know.
So it sounds like to me you're saying that if the Mavs don't make it to the final, it's because a rookie center didn't participate on the back end of the series. That would be interesting.
Could be.
They lose because of the 6th man.
Yeah, that can happen.
No, I get it.
That can happen.
It's just funny that
Who's
you would
actually
think that.
become the third
I mean,
man.
he's
if
only
you think
shooting
about
Oh, the
it.
third man, yeah.
He's
But
only
he's the
shooting
6th man off the
100%
bench,
from the field.
Yeah.
I know, I'm just saying,
I
think
give
about
you a
it.
double-double
You
every night off your bench.
lose your opportunity to go to the final because Derek Lively isn't on the floor as a rookie.
Okay.
That's a participant. It's just
And
it's
yet,
so wild.
he had made all 13 of his shots in this series.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it. That's all.
All right, that's all.
Even
Speaking
though
of
we got
that,
the 2 best guards to ever play.
do the Timberwolves as 4.5-point favorites win tomorrow night's Game 5? We debate that next. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.